Hi, my name is Pastor Ben from Church of the Heartland in Logansport, and tonight I am meeting with Kamp. He is a veteran and former Army sergeant. So tell us a little bit about why you joined the Army and how long you were in.
Well, to be honest, I struggled with drugs a lot before I joined, and my brother had joined quite a time before I decided I was going to go in. And I kind of felt that it was a way to distance myself from that lifestyle and give me the stability and structure that I so desperately needed at that time. And in a way, it worked fantastic.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
there's other things, that you don't think about that come along with that sort of service.
Right. So, with that, like, how many deployments did you complete?
I did, well, I call it 2.5, but technically it's 3 deployments. I was deployed they're set up in year-long increments, so
Okay.
I did a partial 05-06 deployment, and that was about 3 months after I got out of basic, which is almost unheard of.
Wow.
I did 05-06 to Iraq, 08-09 to Afghanistan, and then 2010 to 2011 I did to Afghanistan.
Did you have a family that you had to say goodbye to when you went on deployment?
The first 2 deployments, I was saying goodbye to my mom and dad. And like I said before, my brother is still currently serving in the Army.
Yeah.
And they had to say goodbye to it. I mean, it doesn't make it any better or any, I don't know what the word would be. Doesn't make it any easier. But they've had, at that point in time, a little bit more training than I had in saying goodbye. Come my third deployment, my 2010-2011 deployment, my daughter, who is now 9 years old, she was about 4 months when I left, and I got home just after her first birthday. So she had no idea who I was between when I left and when I came back. It was, who is this guy?
Yeah. But that was very emotional.
It was sobering, to say that like, oh my gosh, like this thing that wasn't even rolling over when I left is now walking towards this guy that she doesn't know. So she knew my voice.
Yes.
Because my wife played my voice to her and let me talk to her on the phone, but she had no idea the face behind the voice.
Wow.
So
That's amazing. That's amazing. So I understand that you have a Purple Heart, and today is actually, was it Happy Purple?
it's like
It's like an honor.
I don't
of
know.
Purple
It's
Hearts.
like it's just Purple Heart Day. Like they have National Taco Day and stuff like that.
Yeah, so today we honor those that have Purple Hearts, and
Thank you.
I'm so lucky to be sitting beside someone that has a Purple Heart. Do you mind sharing how you received it?
Yeah, I got it actually from my last deployment. Ironically, it was the 2010-2011 deployment. And the ironic thing is that it was this village that we had gone to. I couldn't tell you how many times. Same road. There's, a lot of times in villages there's only one way in, one way out.
Right.
And we had to go up this really awkward road to get there, and it was right next to a school. And during the 08-09 deployment, I was also driving over the same exact spot. And then in 2010 and 2011, it was November 10th. Well, I got it tattooed on me. November 16th, 2010 is that just happened to be the day that they wanted us gone.
Wow.
And we had a 9,000-pound mine roller on the front of our truck, and it lifted our truck. It was about 80 pounds of homemade explosives. They call it HME. And luckily the passenger, the TC, the truck commander, was out of the vehicle, or else he probably would have died, because it caved the floor of the vehicle in about a foot and a half. So his head probably would have smashed off the roof and probably would not have been as blessed as we were. So, but luckily, you know, it was one of the worst and best days of my life. You know, it kind of opened my eyes. I have this brand new daughter that I need to get home to. You know, I briefly thought about re-enlisting because I didn't know what else I was going to do at the time, and I gave them some options. You know, send me to the board, and if you're not going to send me to the board, then I'm going home, because I had about 2 months of window time between the end of that deployment and my ETS date, my getting out date. So they said, can't send you to the board, and I said, then y'all ain't worth it. Bye. Pretty much.
Yeah.
But it was a very real experience to know that at this point I was not only fighting for myself and my brothers next to me, but for my now not even a year-old family that I had, that was weighing very heavy on my mind and my heart. So
I was about to say that's probably a lot of pressure, a lot of weight.
it was, because
As a soldier, you're so far away.
a lot of it had to do with what am I going to do if I decide to get out, you know, and what could happen if I decide to stay in.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I can understand that. I can only imagine that it's really tough for veterans to talk about this stuff. Like, I know it's even difficult for you right now to probably talk about some of the stuff that you're experiencing, and because it brings up all that stuff.
I'd be lying if I said my heart wasn't getting racing a little bit. So
Yeah. So talking about war is something that's very much avoided a lot when it comes to veterans. And I know I appreciate you stepping out, for one, stepping out and talking about this. Being a voice for veterans is huge, and I honor that. I think that's just amazing. What was it like for you to return home? I know, like you said, you hit like you read over a mine or whatever, it blew up, you experienced that. So you were being diagnosed with PTSD, and you had a traumatic brain injury, which is called a TBI.
That's actually what I got my Purple Heart for, was that explosion in 2010, 2011. It was for my traumatic brain injury.
Wow. So tell me what it was like to return home after being diagnosed with these.
Well, you know, honestly, it took forever to get diagnosed with them. I came home, and I wasn't your typical soldier. A lot of infantry was, they were, what's the word, told that if you go seek help for your back hurts, your knee hurts, that you are a wuss. That's not necessarily the word that they use, but
I can imagine being around a bunch of soldiers.
but that you are weak in some way, shape, or form. And I was not that person. I went and got everything checked out. So I was fortunate, and everybody, when they went to get out, said, hey, I wish I would have went and got everything checked out, because they fought a lot harder than I did to get what they were deserved.
Wow, what a false misconception.
It took me, I actually didn't get my Purple Heart until a year after I was discharged. That's how long it took to get the paperwork through, because brain injuries are a lot harder to diagnose and go through than your typical, you know, missing limbs, you know, actual physical, well, that's physical, like visual it's a very non-visual thing. But I guess that's why I'm doing what I'm doing, or trying to do. Just get people to start talking. I guess I got off on a tangent. What was the rest of the question?
No, it was just the thought about coming home, like the experience that you had coming home to see
Oh,
your child
yeah.
for the first time and being diagnosed. I think you said it very well. Just they told you that you shouldn't do it, and you're like, you know what? I don't see why I shouldn't.
Right, right. But it was a nightmare to get what I believe I was deserved, benefit wise. It was, at first I was in denial. Heck, I think maybe I'm still a little bit in denial about things I'm going through. My family suffers, and like I talked about earlier, I went into the service to get away from the hard drugs and everything like that. And when I went in, I got into, drinking heavily and it being socially acceptable. And I'm still struggling with that today, and a lot of it, it falls on me, but it's just the lack of, when I came home and they had me talk to therapists and everything, I had 4 different therapists within a year. And this is after I moved from Tennessee, from Fort Campbell, and I moved down to Florida for a job, and I literally went through 4 different therapists in a year. So that's 4 different times I had to start over from square one, because I don't know whether their notes were crap or they just didn't care or whatever it might be. And that's shortly after that, maybe a couple of years after that, shortly now that I think about it, I had this amazing opportunity to have a weekend. Memorial Day weekend is when they always do it. The guys that I was with in my 08-09 deployment do a reunion every year. Get together, talk about everything, talk about nothing, and they've done it for 5 years, and this last year was the first time that I got to go, or no, 2 years ago, and it was the most amazing time. Got together, we shot guns, obviously we drank some beer, but it is what
soldiers
it is.
being soldiers.
Yeah, but that alone was more therapeutic and more helpful than any doctor I've ever talked to.
Wow, that kind of leads into my next question. Like, now you're starting a support group for veterans.
Absolutely.
For veterans so tell me about that group.
Well, I kind of just described it, it's church-based. I thank you and Church of the Heartland for allowing us to use the space to do this, and hopefully it skyrockets from here. I want to do camping, barbecue. There's all kinds of stuff going through my head, but I need to get guys and girls. Doesn't matter, it's not just guys that go through this stuff.
Right.
Women too. They've been through just as much BS than we have, than guys have. I want it to be a non-clinical, not therapy session, but therapeutic let go of some feelings and some things that you may have done that you're not proud of, some things that maybe you're not proud of them, but they were necessary at the time, kind of a, for lack of a better term, kill or be killed situation. A lot of that happens and people don't think about it, and it haunts us. It haunts me. I need to talk about it more than once a year and that's kind of what I'm trying to accomplish. Is if it goes good, maybe it can be more than just, once every second Monday of the month, which is when we're doing it, every second Monday of the month, down at Church of the Heartland. Actually, it's funny, the name 101st North Sicot Street. So, yeah, I want and need. It's me being selfish in a way that I need to help myself, and then in turn, I feel like that's going to help other people as well. So, yeah, that's, I hate to sound that way, but that's really what it is. This whole thing stems from me being selfish, and I want to help myself, but I also feel like if I feel like this, there's got to be other people out there that feel like this too.
Right.
And
I think that's an excellent point, is that you've been through the counselors and they never helped you the way that your brothers in arms did.
Absolutely.
And so that's why I think I love your heart for this. You just want to be a conduit for other people that maybe that have served our country, that just need to talk about it. And even if you don't have any traumatic experience but serve the country, just come and be together. It's huge. I think it's a big thing.
Even if you haven't been through something, if you've served, even police, I mean, they serve and they see things every single day. If there's something that you want to go to safe spot, first responders, whatever it may be, it's not necessarily, it's more geared towards military, but it's not, I'd like to open the door to everybody, because it's not just us that's gone through some messed up things.
Yeah, Graydon's story, Sergeant Graydon's Kamp story is in this book. It's called Dog Company. They basically wrote what he experienced through this, and it's kind of fascinating because then you kind of see the validation of what he's gone through in his life, that it can maybe help your similar experience. And you were also in what you brought with you. World Magazine?
Yep, World Magazine.
World Magazine.
The author of this book used to be a writer for that, and there's if you're a subscriber to World Magazine, there's a small excerpt in there.
I'm trying to find, I think there's a picture of your good-looking face.
There it is, towards the back.
There it is, right there, guys. So I'm going to zoom in on that. You can see his good-looking face there. It really just shows that,
It's about our 08-09 deployment, and just frankly some of the messed up situations that we were forced to endure.
Right.
It's the book that make it clear it's not just about me. I am in but just a itty bitty part of it, but it's more about I guess it's hard to open up to people that you don't know, for one, and you might think they're just blowing you smoke, for two. So if you're in any way, shape, or form interested in coming to the group, you can find a part of my story. This chronicles the 08-09 deployment of Delta Company, 1st of the 506 Infantry, 101st. So.
That's awesome. Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Sergeant Kamp.
Yep.
Remember, 101 North 2nd Street, Church of the Heartland, every second Monday.
Mm-hmm.
We meet at 6:30. Come join us, and let's start the brotherhood, the family.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thanks.